It's always been explained to me as just a fluke, 1 in a million genetic occurrence.
You should never judge a book by its cover. We've all heard that one a million times, right? Since kindergarten. Well, that one's been very important to me throughout my life because I can't tell you how many times people have taken one look at me and vastly underestimated my capabilities and my potential based solely on my physical appearance, on my cover. I've been waiting to catch a bus, and I've had somebody inform me in a very loud, very close voice as to which bus was approaching, even though that information is displayed in big neon letters across the front of the bus. I've had a Wendy's employee offer to feed me my burger, but the most common one, though, is that people look at me and they'll think, oh, look at that poor man stuck in that wheelchair. But see, here's the thing about making assumptions about people. I did learn how to read when I was in kindergarten, and it's not always necessarily a pretty sight, but I am capable of feeding myself. And I'm definitely not stuck in this wheelchair.
When we first met, we were playing volleyball together, and he hits the ball off the top of his head to play volleyball. And that is who Craig is. He will try anything and find a way to do it.
One of the most helpful tools in my life has been this guy here. This is my right arm. Now, the technical name for this is a dressing stick. But because I am the super creative genius that I am, I like to call it my stick. Now, when I was a kid, I spent years learning how to use various types of very expensive prosthetic artificial arms. But whatever I tried to do, whatever task I tried to perform with those artificial arms, I always found that I could do it quicker, better, and easier just by using my shoulder and my chin and my mouth or my stick. And I keep one of these in every room in my house. It works great for flipping light switches, for working the water faucets, for typing on my computer, pulling items off the supermarket shelves. It does all that, and it even does tricks, too.
What's difficult for me to do? Nothing.
Now, if you ask my parents, they might tell you that I've exceeded some of their expectations with some of the things that I've been able to accomplish. But from the time my mom took me home from the hospital as a baby, she had one very important expectation for me. And that was that she was not going to spend the rest of her life taking care of me. That was the same expectation she had for her other 3 kids. I was going to get an education, I was going to be able to get a job and support myself, and I was going to be able to look after my own needs. In short, you could say that my mom's expectation for me was that I was going to define my own potential as a person. If you take just one thing from me today, I want it to be that. Each of us has the ability to define our own potential as a person. Very often in our lives, we find ourselves in situations where we basically have 2 choices as to how we can act. We can allow the circumstances that surround us to control us, or we can step forward and we can find some way to take control of our circumstances. My advice to all of you is challenge yourselves every day. Every day, challenge yourselves to find some way to take control of your circumstances. Live your life. Don't let your life live you. You see, all through elementary school and middle school, I had been assisted by student aides in school. They helped me get from class to class and helped me with my books and whatever else I needed help with. And they were all very nice ladies, and there was one lady in particular who actually was with me all through middle school and elementary school, and Mrs. Fedorko. Now, Mrs. Federico and I had developed a good relationship over the years, and she had kind of become a little bit like my school mom. But as I was 13 or 14 years old and looking to go into high school, I wasn't really sure I wanted a school mom hanging around me all the time anymore. More importantly, I really didn't think I needed her anymore. I really believed that I could handle everything in high school on my own. The toughest challenge for me physically was going to be dealing with my locker and books and that sort of thing. But I came up with a plan for that. I thought that if I could have them build a shelf in my locker on my level that I could reach from my wheelchair, I could get stuff in and out of that shelf, and we could put a little ring on the locker handle that I could get a hold of with my stick, and I could use that up and open the locker. And then what I would do is I could put all my morning books in one book bag and all my afternoon books in another book bag, and then all I had to do is after lunch just stop by and pull one book bag out and put it on the chair and toss the other one back in the locker. I'd always kind of thought about doing an endurance swim, an endurance open water swim, but I had never really sought out the opportunity. And then a few years ago, I was living in Pittsburgh, and I was feeling kind of fat and out of shape, and I was looking for a new challenge in my life. And a couple coworkers of mine told me they were doing the Pittsburgh Triathlon on a relay team. And I didn't even know you could do that. You do a relay on the triathlon. One person does a swim, one person does a bike, the other person does the run. And to this day, I still don't really know why, but something just kind of clicked in me that I just decided that it was time for me to actually do what I had always thought about doing, and that I needed to do this triathlon. So I got a couple buddies of mine to do the bike and the run with me, and we registered for the race. For me, doing it reinforces another very simple life lesson. And that is a lesson that I actually learned from a fortune cookie. And that is that you should never compare yourself to the best that others can do, but to the best that you can do. One of the realities of being human is that we all have certain limitations. But the flip side of that is that we also all have very unique talents and very unique abilities. And for me, the key was finding those talents and finding those abilities, finding what I'm good at, finding what I'm passionate about, and focusing on that. I'm hooked on the feeling that I get finding out that my body and my soul are capable of so much more than I ever imagined. And for me, that is truly the best rush that life has to offer me. Thank you.